Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're got an Epiphone Les Paul. We're going to be doing a setup on it, looking it over, checking everything out on it, doing a big cleaning up on it. Les Paul Custom. Got the binding on the headstock, dust on the dirt on the headstock, 5 strings, all pretty rusty. Everything's pretty dirty. Looks like it's been stored up for a while. So got the gold hardware. So anyway, we're going to be taking this thing down and going through it. So if that's something you're interested in, just hang on and we'll get started. Okay, I got it plugged in. We're going to see if we got sound. All the pots work. Bridge. Sounds like still the bridge. Okay, so we got switch trouble or pot trouble or pickup trouble or something. So we'll have to get into all that. I think first though, I'm going to go ahead and get these strings off and get that out of the way. Then we'll go from there. Alright, we'll get this cover off back here and see if we can see something that's evident as to why this switch isn't working or why the pickup isn't working. It could be several different things, several different places. This will be a good place to start. I can't see anything. I don't see any wires that are off. I don't see anything. I can't see the working side of the switch to tell if there's something. Let's just go ahead and take this other cover off down here. Look in here and see if there's something going wrong in this part of it. Process of elimination. This is a really pretty guitar. Once it's cleaned up, it's gonna really look sharp. I guess this is a cherry burst, I guess is what they call it. But anyway, it's a Epiphone. Seems to be making some pretty nice instruments these days. Okay. Been a lot of work done in here, so it's really hard to tell what's maybe bridged or whatnot. Okay, I'm about to get some of these cable ties out of the way, kind of look around, see what I can come up with. Okay, I went ahead and pulled the bridge pickup out just to go ahead and start there, kind of moving around. Just thought since I had it out, I'd show you what it is. It's a Epiphone 57CH-G, which the G will be gold. Neck, bridge, Les Paul neck, BHC. So that's, seems to have a good bit of weight to it. But I don't see anything evident, wrong with it right off the bat. So we've probably, I'm thinking more toward the switch, But I think while I got this out, I'm going to go ahead and take the pick guard, the other pickup, some of this other stuff off, and go ahead and start cleaning this top, and maybe go ahead and drop this switch out, and get that much done while I'm right here and not have to keep going back and forth. This gives you a pretty good indication of how dirty this thing is. I mean, it's pretty nasty. It's been laid up for a while. It's in really good shape. It looks like it just needs good cleaning. A lot of stuff built up around these pickup covers. The bridge pickup, same as the neck as far as Epiphone. Hot CHG. So we'll try to get around to checking on the DC resistance of them to kind of give us some indication of just how hot they are. Placing the finish right there where the pick guard cover has kind of wore the finish right there. Man, this thing has really got a pretty top on it. And I'm just lightly hitting it with this paper towel. I don't like to use nothing too aggressive on these things and make swirls and whatnot. We'll put something better on here. I'm just putting some cleaner on it right now. Try to get the worst of this stuff off. But yeah, this thing's got a beautiful top on it. I think these are rather expensive guitars. I think they sell retail or on the used market probably $700 or $800, I think, if I'm thinking right. So that's getting some of the worst of it off. We'll come back with some lizard spit and polish it up. They go ahead and try to pull these knobs if they're going to pull. I ain't wanting to. There, that one came. All right, let me get this all cleaned up and we'll go from there. Thought I'd show this right quick. What I use on these knobs, especially like these Les Pauls and stuff, where you've got a little more room, this is just like a brake tool, I think. I picked this up somewhere, but you can get actually up. You start pulling on the outside edges of these knobs, you're gonna get in trouble. This will get up under there and it'll get on this part of your knob. You start prizing on this outside edge, you're going to crack something. But this will actually get up in there, see? And it'll get, I guess you can see that. It'll get up in there and get on the part you want it to get on. Not get onto that skirt, I guess is what you would call it. Then put something down to keep so you don't mar the finish. But these knobs weren't going to fall off for sure. But that thing works like a charm. And I'm sure you can pick that up Harbor Freight, any auto parts store. I'm not real sure. Autocraft. Anyway, it's the handiest thing for those Gibson type knobs. Really works good. Because you'll crack that skirt if you start prizing up on it. Or you can go to StewMac and spend probably $40 on this thing. That's a challenge in its own. So anyway, all right. That's got most of that dirt off. It's got the worst of it. surrounds and all that's going to clean. Need a lot of cleaning. All right, that's got the pickups cleaned up. The little housing, surrounds, whatever, clean. Everything's cleaned up there. Unless there's a problem inside that pickup, I don't think that's where the problem's at. But anyway, we got the top looking a whole lot better, that part of it anyway. Okay, after a little bit of searching and looking around, and that's just what it takes, I had another switch that I was able to plug in, tried it, same result, no bridge pickup, whatever. And so what I ended up doing, going back to the cavity, searching everything around, worked my way from one side to the other. What has happened, somebody had spun this pot around to where it was grounding on the shielding paint on the cavity, had it grounded out. So that was the issue. Now we're good. So that's all it was. Wasn't a bad solder, wasn't a bad switch. It was just simply, somebody had turned that knob around, they'd spun that pot around to where it was touching the cavity, and that was the issue with our bridge pickup, or our neck pickup, excuse me. Okay, now that we're pretty much through with the body, got the pickup fiasco sorted out, this thing's got a pretty deep gouge in the neck, and you feel it pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is take just a little bit of glue and try to put in there just to try to level that up just a little bit, so it won't be quite as noticeable, and it'll keep, water, it'll keep the edge and all that from getting, starting to chip out anymore. And I think the tip that I got on this thing is going to be where nobody can see it, but it's not going to take much. Just right there, let it kind of level out. I think it'll be great. And that'll keep it'll keep anybody from feeling it, and it'll also keep keep it from getting any worse. But that'll level out. For some reason, it don't exactly level. I can work it down. It'll smooth out. So that'll be that. So we pretty much ready to start on the fretboard now. So, all right, I've got the headstock cleaned up. The tuners, all tightened up, checked out. Grover tuners. Oh, man, this thing it's not as bad as the last one, but it's pretty dirty, but it's nothing compared to that last one I had in here. I don't think that audition, I don't think I'll ever experience anything else as quite as nasty as that thing was. This one's pretty dirty. It's not been beat up and banged around or nothing. It's just looks like it's been, maybe up for sale in a music store or pawn shop or somewhere for a while. Just accumulated a lot of grime and stuff. But it's really I think it's really going to be a nice guitar. I did check the truss rod. It works. In fact, there's just barely a little tension on it. So that's good. Don't have that worry. But this thing has been played some. I can tell by the frets. And it's been played at some point. Nice block inlays. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with one of these for the money. Uh-oh, the nut just fell off when I touched it. So there we got another little little thing to work on. It just, as much as I have to work at some of those to get them off, and then that one just falls on the floor. That's great. Okay. Oh, brag on it. Brag on it, then it falls off. Plastic nut. Wish I had a bone. I'm out of bone nuts. Listen, I make one completely from scratch. But they didn't say nothing about wanting a bone nut, so they'll get a plastic nut. They will get a plastic back on there. Let's see. Let's make sure we got no. There really wasn't any glue. Really glue. I don't think it's got any glue on it. Maybe just a touch. Maybe just a touch. All right. We can fix that. We'll just put it right back on. With just a little more glue. Yeah. We'll put it on there with just a little more so it don't just fall off. Okay. One problem fixed. Okay. Now let's do a little more. I've been using this lizard spit polish. Works pretty good. I ran out of this stuff. I've got this a little of this Angel, and I hadn't been able to find it. I've had that forever. But I went ahead and thought I'd give this lizard spit guitar polish a go. Seems to work out pretty good. Now we're going to use some lizard spit fretboard conditioner. See how that works out. And you get a little bit or nothing, or a whole lot. This looks pretty dry. Frets look, they don't need polished or none of that. They all in really good shape. Checked those earlier. Kind of can't remember what I'm filming and what I'm not. It's just another day in the shop. Gonna put a set of Ernie Ball tins on it. Set up everything and hope for the best. Should be a great sounding guitar. Should be excellent. All right, we'll get the strings on it. Okay, guys, I believe we're done up. I went through, this video, it's going to be kind of messed up because I've done what I filmed and what I hadn't really. But basically, done a complete cleanup on this thing. The bridge pickup, or our neck pickup wasn't working. We found out that one of the tone pot had got turned around to where the contacts were touching the cavity, the shielding paint in the cavity, grounding that out, causing that neck pickup not to work. So turned that around, fixed that. Like I say, major cleaning, fixed a little place on the neck back here, a little bit where it's not so, you don't feel it so much. Tightened up the tuners good. Cleaned the headstock. The nut fell off. We reattached it. Cleaned the fretboard up. And, the customer just picked this guitar up he hadn't even played it. He brought it straight here, and you know, for me to look at, to set up and all that, and there really wasn't no setup to it. Whoever had this guitar knew they either had somebody set it up or they knew what they were doing, because it's the intonation's dead on, string height is dead on, pickup height is great. Uh, no problems, no problems at all. So this is a fine guitar. I mean, it's a pretty guitar. I mean, it's got a good weight to it. I guess the biggest value you got out of this video is how to clean up a guitar and put strings on it. And if you're interested in a Epiphone Les Paul Custom, I'd definitely recommend one. I mean, it looks like a fine guitar. So anyway, until the next time, I appreciate it, and I'll see you.